Hello, welcome to an episode of Steam's Four Wheels. Today is just going to be a little bit of a mini update on how things are going with the SLK. Since last time I've actually been able to get a new battery fitted, which has sorted all the electrical issues that I had before. As you know, I did all my testing and stuff, and now the car starts first time every time. I don't have any problem with the central locking or anything like that I was having before. So that's a bit of a result. It cost me £120 that I wasn't really expecting, but there you go. And just to prove that all my electrical issues have actually been sorted, I'm going to start up the car. I haven't actually started it up for about a few days actually, so it's unlocked, it's opened up, the lights are on the inside, and as you can see it started up without really any trouble. And bearing in mind it's quite cold at the moment, it's only going about 2 degrees, probably tell from my breath. It's only got about 2 degrees in the day at the moment, so I'm quite happy that it starts and it runs and everything is normal, which is sort of, I'm quite proud of that fact. I don't really know why. I'm quite proud of that. I've got a car that starts and drives, but there we go. It's also been to the paint shop, and the reason I'm standing this side of the car is because it's only had some of the stuff done that it needs to have done. So it's had a good machine polish using quite a detailed cutting compound, which is a bit more specialist than I know how to do. So they've done the bonnet, the top of the roof, and they've also done the boot lid as well. Down the side of the car we've also had the front wheel arch taken, all the rust out of there. He's put a little bit of stone chip on the edge as well, which is why it looks a little bit uneven. And then he's just painted over the top of it. He's done that for the front and the rear wheel arch. And then going inside the car as well, he's also done a little bit of the door edge here, which was quite nasty and a little bit pitted, and I think it had a few chips in there. You can sort of see what it was like before. There's a little bit of a chip there, and it was sort of like that, but it was all the way sort of down the edge, so he's decided to take that back and fill that all in. So that's part one really, what he's done. I think he was trying to get most of it done in one day. But unfortunately I think it was a little bit too much work and probably a bigger project than what we thought it was going to be. So it's going to be another day. He's going to do the other side for me. He's also going to do a few little bits on the bonnet, and of course leading into the bonnet is a few chips and scratches. So he's going to paint the edge of it and blend it in. So probably about a third of the bonnet he'll end up doing as well, and not forgetting as well all the bits of trim at the lower part of the bumpers. That's all starting to peel off, so that will be going back to black as it should be with the original design of this car. Okay, so in terms of the bonnet, still needs doing, as you can see, a couple little chips here just on the edge. Now, unfortunately, those are bad enough that they do need to be painted out. So he's going to paint this sort of leading edge, probably up to where the badge is, and he's going to blend it in to the rest of the bonnet, so it'll be quite nice to have that all done. There's still a few more little scratches and stuff on the bonnet, but actually he's done a really good machine polish, and I'd say it's about sort of 90% better than what it was. It'll probably never be factory finish almost, because I think the only way you're going to factory finish is paint the whole car, and that's probably looking at 4 to 5 grand, and I'm not even paying a tenth for that to get this all the bodywork done. The only other thing that I had recently, which I've just found out about, I'm going to replace the headlights because those are a little bit clouded over. I think the other side's looking like it's getting like condensation inside and a little bit clouded on the outside as well, which you can get kits to, that's fairly easy, but I can't do much about the actual condensation inside. I've also had a little quirk with the car, which is this little, what are you going to do now? Yes, I don't think that should be quite as loose as it is. It seems to hold in there, but it's not going to, I don't think it's going to actually come out while you're driving. But you don't have to be a mechanic to work out. It probably shouldn't be that way, so that's something else I'm going to have to look into now. As well as the other issue while I'm here, of the washer bottle fluid as well, which I've mentioned before. When I went to top it up, and it all came gushing out the bottom where the compressor badge is down the bottom. Which again, the strange thing is there's actually fluid in there because the wipers do work and the fluid comes out and stuff, but it's obviously a little bit suspicious really. Obviously there's stuff in there, whether there's a problem with the top of the pipe that actually goes into the bottle, or whether there's something at the top of the bottle which doesn't allow it to be filled up fully, I don't know, but it was a bit of a surprise when I was topping it up, and I did think it was taking a lot, and suddenly I heard this sort of gushing water sound coming from the bottom of the car, and that was a little bit unexpected, but again, one of those things with project cars really. Okay, so the final thing that I'm going to be looking at doing, and a little bit of an update, is I'm probably going to be looking at getting the wheels refurbished. I didn't really think about this at first, but actually I've been looking at the wheels sort of closer. Now you look at this and the bodywork's all nice and shiny. Actually the wheels are starting to let it down a little bit. They're not too bad. It's mainly the front two that I might get done, but then whether I get the front two done, then it leaves the back one looking a bit odd. I might possibly look at getting all four done. And as you can see, just in the centres here, it's just all starting to bubble up, and each of these wheels has just a little bit of curb damage. Every single one has a bit of curb damage, and that's not going to get any better. It'll probably get worse and get underneath the surface of paint and everything. So that might be another little project that I have to do, but hopefully if I can get that sorted fairly cheap, though, for about £40–50 a wheel. I've also managed to fix my mirror, which, if you saw it before, this bit was hanging off. It was clipped at the top, wasn't clipped in the bottom. I've actually managed to buy a bit of brute force to actually get this to be fixed, and basically the problem was the top was too far pushed in, so there's a little bit of a gap you can probably see. There's a few millimetres, and basically these two bits are touching, there wasn't the gap. So actually I've pulled this top part off just to make it a bit looser, and then it actually allowed me to clip the bottom part in. Now I was actually looking to get another mirror, which is probably about £50 to £80, but hopefully I've actually managed to sort it. I think it still would come off with a bit of forceful pull, but actually if you just see, it's still a little bit loose in places, but it's actually a lot better than it was. So, I'm not really going to go into too much detail about the bodywork. It's not quite done yet, and I really want to actually show you around the bodywork properly when it's all done, and I've given it a bit of a clean as well. I thought I'd just give you an update on the battery issue. I know that was causing problems. I know quite a few people had different solutions to that one, and I sort of went down each of those routes and sort of looked at it individually, and thank you for your comments on that. It's always appreciated when someone sort of offers me a bit of help and advice on that. Hopefully the big thing which is the bodywork of this car is going to get sorted in the next couple of weeks. I can then give it a good clean, and then 4 weeks today there's actually a meet-up at Chelsea Wall, which is my sort of target to get everything done on this car. So it's starting to get a little bit to the wire now. It's not quite a week ahead yet, so we've still got a bit of time left, nearly a month left. So hopefully it will all be looking really smart then. I'm really impressed with the way the car's coming along, and I will say this just once in this video, I can't believe I bought this car for £500. Obviously I've put a bit of work into it. My sort of budget was sort of £500 to go back into this car, so it's 500 original asking price for 500 to put into to get it back up to look into a relatively good standard. Might be possibly a bit tight with that budget. I've always spent 120 odd pounds on the battery. The work that I'm putting into the car, or the bodywork that I'm paying for the car, that's probably at £250 at the moment. So it might be a little bit tight for my £500 budget to get things like the wheels done. I also need to get things like the servicing and also the MOT done this car, which again I'm probably not going to factor into that £500. That stuff I would do anyway, regardless of whether I bought this car and it needed doing up or it didn't need doing up. So hopefully there'll be more in-depth video coming out when I've actually got the bodywork done, and hopefully then a few more parts will arrive, and I've got a few more bits done. Hopefully get the wheels done as well, get those organised as well. So it's goodbye from me, goodbye from the SLK, and goodbye from our two very noisy little dogs who are doing something over there. And I will see you next time. Goodbye. Hello.